for him to prepare for what I'm going to bring to the table, and I'm just too sharp, too clean, punch way too hard, power in both hands.
I was streaming, I just shut the curtains because I was like nervous type stuff, but now it's like I embrace it because I always dreamed of this. That's why I don't never shy away from it. That's what I'm here to do. You know what I mean, to show out, so.
Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
In their intense face-to-face interview, Jake Paul expresses full confidence in his growth as a boxer and his intention to defeat Gervonta Davis in a brutal manner. He believes his long journey in sports has prepared him for this moment, and he feels ready to take on the challenge without hesitation. Gervonta Davis responds with equal certainty, stating that he has the complete package. His power.
Capable of, I know what I've learned in the past year with my new coaches, the shape I'm in, the power I possess, and I'm just in.
Gervonta Davis has all the qualities a top boxer needs. He carries explosive power in both hands, sharp timing that allows him to strike at the perfect moment, and footwork that keeps him in control of every exchange. His defense is tight, and his instincts help him read opponents before they react. Because of these strengths, Davis knows he is more than just a puncher. He believes he has everything required to compete at the highest level and continue proving he is one of the best in the world.
Fight. His training is taking a toll, but the cure is just as bitter as what ails him.
How long I do it? 5 minutes?
5 would be good enough for you.
They definitely went to the kids store and get it.
That water ain't cold. We know that.
I know, but
Get in the water, man. Just get in the water.
you can't sit on the head.
Man, just get in there, man.
Go. No, give me the towel.
The upcoming fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis continues to spark intense debate across the boxing world. It is a matchup built on contrasts. One side brings sheer size, weight, and physical strength. The other brings lightning speed, elite technique, experience, and knockout precision sharpened over many years at the highest level. This clash feels like two different worlds of the sport colliding. Analysts have spent months highlighting how Jake Paul enters this fight with a major weight advantage, which cannot be ignored when calculating risks in the ring. A larger frame gives him a stronger chin, bigger power potential, and more physical force to lean on. But an advantage only exists if it can be used correctly. While Jake Paul stands taller and heavier, Gervonta Davis holds almost every other tool that matters most in boxing. His footwork, timing, and explosive punching techniques were not.
I believe he spars people that are much heavier than him. And that uppercut.
Well, who do you got?
I would have to bet on Gervonta because for all the little things, all that, and the fact that he's not old.
Yeah.
I think he makes up for the weight situation.
Okay, so this is the first time that Jake Paul's fighting an actual boxing champion, an active, young boxing champion. Everyone else he's fought was either way older or like, was it Tommy Fury, I think?
Yeah, he was a legitimate boxer. Yeah.
A legitimate boxer, but not a champion.
Right.
He's fighting a champion, although a very little champion compared to him.
Yes.
So this is sort of a, I don't know, man, like.
If it wasn't Gervonta Davis, it was somebody else in that weight category.
It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. But Gervonta, I mean, technique-wise and heart-wise, that makes it interesting. Like, again, kudos goes to Jake Paul because it kind of worked its way up, even though the guy is so much smaller.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm happy that Jake is bringing excitement to the sport and so forth, but you just have these, like, people fighting bears and, there might be a boxing match with a weapon involved of some sort, like people have sticks. Like, I feel it's just getting more and more ridiculous. And really outside of Crawford-Canelo, there's really very little excitement over pure boxing.
Experts emphasize that Jake has never faced anyone with Davis's pedigree. Gervonta has fought world champions, undefeated prospects, and dangerous knockout artists. He has beaten every type of fighter the sport has brought his way, including those with reach advantages far greater than Jake's. That is why many believe that Jake Paul has stepped into a challenge unlike anything he has ever encountered. Even Jake recognizes this truth himself. In interviews, he openly admits that Davis is on a different level, and that this fight requires complete focus and serious growth in his skill set. That acknowledgement shows he understands the danger in front of him, and knows he cannot afford to approach this contest the same way he did with previous opponents.
Toughest fight, he's undefeated, highly skilled, most experienced fighter I've fought, top 5 pound for pound, so I have to have the best version of myself. I know how fast he is, I know how strong he is. I believe I'm stronger, more athletic, and that's my advantage going into the fight, but he pretty much has every other advantage. So I'm locked in, fully focused, feeling amazing already, and just going to put on a performance and have the biggest fight of 2025.
Last one, I've seen some people say, oh, Jake, the goal here is just to survive. Knowing you, that's not the case. You're not going in there just to get through 12 rounds with Tank Davis. I would imagine you're going in there to win this fight.
Oh, absolutely. Tank's going to be the one surviving. I'm going to, upset a lot of people. And again, they're going to have to say that there's some crazy excuse, fights are rigged. They can't use the steroid excuse because we have full-on random drug testing at any time. They could literally knock on my door right now. So they can't use that excuse. And obviously I'm suing people who say that the fights are rigged. Piers Morgan already had to retract his statement and kiss the ring. More lawsuits are coming for these people who are lying on my name because it's just simply not true. And we're willing to prove that in court. But I'm actually flattered that the only thing that people can chalk up these wins to is that the fights are rigged, because it's honestly the greatest compliment. But again, I'm gonna knock this guy out and probably create one of the most viral knockouts.
Public reaction to this fight has been a mix of confusion and curiosity. Some fans argue that it is not the match boxing needed at this moment. They feel that the talent pool in boxing is stacked with exciting contenders who could face Davis. Yet at the same time, people cannot look away. The spotlight of entertainment surrounding Jake Paul has created something that fans still want to explore. Observers describe this event as one that may not solve any competitive debates in the sport, but it will still draw massive attention and spark conversations long after the fight is done.
Was at cruiserweight. Chavez Jr. was a former world champion at middleweight himself, and that sort of made sense. And it was a good win for Jake Paul. He come out there and he beats an ex-world champion. He gets a little bit of credibility, and you go, right, now you're heading in the right direction. You're starting to be okay, all right. Former champions, former fighters, but at least they're boxers. They're not MMA stars, and whatnot. So. Yeah, I think that was a move in the right direction. Gervonta Davis is just a little bit of a freak show for me.
Yeah, I agree, Spence. I mean, the size difference is a bit of an annoying one as well. But also as well, I hate when they put exhibition in it, because then you think how seriously they're really going to take it. I understand it because of the money involved, but realistically, if there can be a winner, Gervonta Davis should take him out, regardless of the size, pretty easily and pretty quickly.
I agree, mate. Totally agree. Gervonta Davis is an active fighter. Like I say, still a pound-for-pound star. Very heavy-handed as well. He should have the movement, forget the size, to be able to slip inside and take Jake Paul out. That's the reality of it. But yeah, I just find it all very, very strange. Look, I thought an even stranger fight, to be honest, was Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. You look at that fight and go, who's going to sanction that? God forbid something happens to Jake. I think that what he's doing for the sport is brilliant in his own right. He's bringing new fans into the sport. He's doing excellent for women's boxing as well. You can't take that away from the kid, and he's been working hard as well, and he's improving. But going in against Anthony Joshua, a former 2-time world heavyweight champion and still an active fighter, that's a suicide mission for me. I think that Anthony Joshua, when you look at Francis Ngannou and look at what AJ does to Francis Ngannou, who would win out of Anthony Joshua?
Former UFC fighter and entertainer Mike Perry gave his own blunt take. He pointed out that Davis has not given fans the same level of knockout moments in recent fights as he did earlier in his career. Perry's comment does not deny Tank's power, but instead highlights rising expectations. People have come to rely on Tank to deliver spectacular finishes every time he steps into the ring. That reputation brings pressure, especially when facing a bigger man who can absorb more impact.
Big Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great They went to draw, and you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to.
Respected boxing strategist Teddy Atlas has weighed in as well, offering praise for Davis's complete ability set. Atlas said Tank is one of the most dangerous competitors in modern boxing for a simple reason. He does everything well. His accuracy is sharp. His punches land with purpose. And he knows how to adjust to every style. That is something Jake Paul has not yet gained through experience. Atlas believes that the excitement surrounding Jake Paul's physical size will quickly disappear when the fight actually begins. He says that technique and experience defeat weight advantages when the skill gap is this wide. Tank is used to opponents trying to muscle him around the ring. He has seen pressure fighters, long-range boxers, counterpunchers, and explosive sluggers. He solved every one of them.
One guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch. And he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're gonna find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's gonna sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else, that just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that, it's safer to do that. You don't have to bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that, but I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air. Jump up in the air. Bang! And he hits him. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Cus D'Amato told me he loves Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right, anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like that either. I mean, first of all, Mayweather was past his prime. He was already retired. He was older, everything, but he's still the great Mayweather. And Mayweather was fighting a guy, what was it, 50-pound difference, 60-pound difference, whatever it was. And that size made a difference. It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense. So yeah, it's kind of like we've seen this already in that version of it, and we didn't really like it. I don't think I liked it that much.
Former opponent Rolando Romero also gave credit to Davis, acknowledging that Tank has already accomplished more than many fighters do in an entire career. Romero pointed out that Tank has shown he can hurt bigger men and handle stronger challengers. This matters a lot because it reminds fans that Davis stepping up in weight is not new to him. He has already proved his ability to punch through size disadvantages. Romero believes Tank remains one of the best fighters in the world and is fully capable of winning fights even when people doubt him.
Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, or as an exhibition, we don't know if they throw at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were to beat him or even knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
You know, some people trying to give, that's fair, some people trying to give Tank a hard time. They're saying he should have took a fight with Lamont Roach or Shakur Stevenson. But when you think about it, do you think this is business and look, he's getting a bag, or is there some validity to people saying that he ducked Roach?
I mean, there's still other options, you know? It's like, bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all that stuff, right? At the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right?
Facts.
Right or wrong.
Facts.
So just do what's best for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, me personally, it don't matter what my opinion is, but I don't think get the money while you can get the money is my opinion. But you know, some fans are gonna have a hard time.
No, it's not
with
even
it.
about the money though, man. It's like regardless of anything, like yeah, get the money when you can get the money, but it's not even about the money. There's so much more to this sport in this world than just money, man. It's just do whatever you feel benefits.
Conversations about Davis's future have also become part of the story. Some insiders claim that Tank may choose to retire after this fight. The reasoning behind that idea comes from a shift in his priorities. He has held world titles, sold out arenas, and delivered many unforgettable highlights. Now, financial security appears to be a major goal for him. People who have worked around him say he wants stability, peace, and the ability to spend more time with his family. If that is true, then this fight becomes more than just entertainment. It becomes a potential final chapter. It becomes a moment where he can leave the sport while still on top.
And on what you make. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing. For sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates. Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're going to come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is going to knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight him. What does that say about Tank? If you talk all that stuff, you better.
Analyst Max Kellerman supports the belief that Davis accepted the Jake Paul fight for reasons beyond competition. He suggests Tank wanted a matchup that could pay him enough to ease his schedule. A fight with a mainstream superstar like Jake Paul guarantees massive revenue, no mandatory defenses, no long list of upcoming challengers waiting in line, just a single big fight with a major payout and worldwide attention. For Davis, that might be a perfect way to finish a journey built on hard battles and difficult sacrifices. Every expert agrees that this matchup will come down to who can control the rhythm. If Jake pushes Tank back and forces him to box off the ropes, he may find success. But if Tank can close the gap quickly and establish his speed, Jake will be forced into panic mode. And panic is when fighters make the biggest mistakes.
Gervonta, who I personally think has been checked out for way longer than this last fight. I think he was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here. He did an interview with Dan Canobio about 18 months ago where he was like, yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing has been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next.